Let's just start with growing up with your mother, okay? So, what was the relationship between you and her just growing up as a child and so on?
I know my mother loves me. I'm gonna make that very clear.
Mm-hmm.
When she was when she was not going through any of her episodes, she was very kind. She's very caring. I would not I would not replace her for anything. However, due to the relationship being very hot and cold, when there were moments of her episode happening, I felt very unloved, unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And that resulted in me getting a little. I'm very outgoing naturally, but previously I'd be a bit withdrawn and then I'd be outgoing, withdrawn, outgoing. And that was most likely due to my relationship with my mother, as early on in terms of childhood, the relationship you have with your parents essentially formulates the rest of your life or the rest of your relationships.
Oh, right,
And she would love me
definitely.
one moment, and then during her episode, she'd be very withdrawn. There would be things she'd say that make me upset, and I'd be like, "Why is this happening?"
Mm-hmm.
And that honestly, it had a very negative impact. I just didn't realize it at the time because when you're going through it, you numb yourself to the pain.
Right. So
You numb yourself. Sorry,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no problem, no problem. It's okay.
So when did you do you kind of remember around the time period when you actually started to notice maybe some signs that she had schizophrenia, or was it someone else that had to mention it to you, like, oh, your mother may have this or that?
As young children, we think that everything happens around us is just normal. It's just everyday life. For
Mhm.
example, you see children in a village somewhere in Bangladesh. They just think their life is their life. They don't think there's something better at the other side. They
Mhm.
just enjoy the moment. That was similar to what I was going through at that moment. God bless my dad. He's gone through a lot. I have so much respect for my father for everything he's done for me.
Mhm.
He's one of my biggest role models. I have a lot of respect for him. And I didn't realize I had a problem or there was an issue until my mom started getting hospitalized more often. And that
Mm.
was before she got put on the tranquilizers. But irregardless, it was the moment it really hit was I was about 15 and my mom had a severely bad episode. It was so bad that they had to isolate her in a psychiatric ward for about 2 3 months. And I know there's other people out there that are going through even worse than me. I don't know what your personal opinions are on the geopolitical situations happening in the Middle East. Like I see videos of little kids in Gaza, and I think the suffering they're going through, it's nothing compared to what I went through. Yet when I was there, that felt like my entire world. Like it just shattered. I remember seeing my mom there. She wasn't paying attention to me. Her eyes were darting everywhere.
Right.
They were very red. Hair was scattered. The psychiatrist just walks me and he was very cold about the entire situation. Like this was happening to him all the time. I sat down, I saw, and I remember just crying. I'm like, what's going on here? I just don't understand. And it's that image has been stuck in my head for a long time. And it wasn't until I was able to sit down during the pandemic and reflect on what was going through. Sorry, it's a little hard for me to share these things. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
get it
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get it out. I promise. I'm very open to sharing this stuff because I know it'll benefit somebody out there. It's just hard for me to say. But regardless, I remember sitting down during the pandemic and reflecting on everything that's happened, and that's when I truly realized what the problem was. Because after that, to be completely transparent, I just started chasing all the pleasures in the world. Right after that situation, I got into drugs, I got into alcohol, I got into whatever else high school students do. And the constant pursuit of pleasure to get my mind off of what was happening at home resulted in me becoming somebody I didn't want to be. I felt like there was a disconnect between who I was and who I portrayed myself. And eventually I reached a breaking point when I realized, why am I doing this? I feel so fake.
Mhm.